Hey, it's Greg at the Vinylarms. Thank you for tuning in. Watched a brilliant little video last night from Martin Martian Vinyl. Basically, he was talking about 5 albums that define who he is. So he's not talking about what he thinks the best 5 albums are. He's talking about his musical journey and 5 albums that kind of have resonated with him through his musical discoveries and life. And I sort of reached out to Martin. I said, "Is that okay for us all to join in?" And he said, "Yeah, please do." So here we are. Here's my little stab at it. So when I was a kid, my sort of first musical discoveries, sort of in rock, were probably when I was about 11 years old ish. And I remember having a birthday, and I think we went bowling, something like that. And 3 or 4 of my mates came with me, and my mum and dad took us, and they said, "What do you want for your birthday, Greg?" So I said, "Could everybody get me an AC/DC cassette?" Because I had this little Walkman and I wanted some tapes to play in it. I still wish I had those cassettes now. Unfortunately, I don't. I'd give anything to have those cassettes back. Anyway, that's where we are now. But this was one of those cassettes, and it's AC/DC for those about to rock. What an absolute brilliant album this is. Proper rock and roll and a great sort of introduction into rock music. And I'm really lucky to have kind of discovered this band at an early age and sort of decided to check them out, because this kind of really gave me a good foundation for my musical journey thereafter. And there's some brilliant songs on this, obviously, for those about to rock. Evil Walks, Spellbound, Inject the Venom. But one of my favourites is Night of the Long Knives. And I think the artwork as well really resonates with me. As an 11-year-old kid looking at that cassette, seeing this big cannon gun in the middle, I thought, yeah, these guys mean business. Brilliant album. So then sort of moving along a little bit to maybe sort of about 14, sort of when you sort of start to buy stuff with your own money. I was working in a garden centre and earning a bit of cash on a weekend, and you start to buy stuff yourself, don't you? And one of the first bands that I really got into heavily and started to buy their singles and their album collection was this band, Faith No More, Angel Dust. Now this is a magnificent album. Mike Patton, the vocalist, is on absolute top form. Mike Borden, the drummer, is absolute top form. There's a track on here called Midlife Crisis, which is stunning. And I remember when that came out and I thought, yeah, I'm proud to sort of support this band. Absolutely wonderful album. Got it on CD as well. I take that everywhere with me in the car. A great listen. Actually saw Faith No More live as well when I was 14. Me and a mate called Steve. My dad gave us a lift over to Leeds, and then we jumped on a bus, like an organised coach thing for the fans that took you to Leeds, to Sheffield Arena and back again. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. L7 were supporting. Great to be there. Now, fast forward sort of into my early 20s. Me and another good friend, Paul, we went to Cardamona in Kos, and we had a lovely sunny holiday, lots of drunken antics and stuff like that. And we took this little boom box with us, which played CDs. And this CD was absolutely rinsed. I'll just take this ticket stub out of it first. But we listened to this album, Built to Spill, Keep It Like a Secret, hundreds of times in that sort of 10-day holiday. And it was just a great album. If you're not familiar with Built to Spill, kind of alternative US rock, really catchy tunes, great guitar work, heavy drums, excellent band. We also saw them live. They came to the UK in 2008, and we saw them at the Broodnell as well, which was a great gig. And obviously, rude not to have that on record as well. Absolutely gorgeous album. Check it out. Now, sort of my wife, Anna, we met each other in the millennium year. And we, one of our first sort of trips away was down to Brighton. She had a friend down there and went to stay with them and had a great time. There's a big party going on down there, which was lovely. And one of the albums that we had on CD, I've turned the house upside down trying to find the CD. I know we've got it somewhere, but I can't find it for the life of me. But I do have the record, and it's this. It's Blackalicious and Near. And this is on Mo Wax Records. It's kind of like hip-hop, rap, crossover. With it being on Mo Wax Records, you get a good feel. You know, it's heavy on the beats. You know, like DJ Shadow and that kind of thing, but not as dancey, you know, more sort of rap orientated. It's just a gorgeous sounding album. It's a double vinyl album. You know, there's a lot to tuck into. But there's a song on here, the one that kind of introduced me to them and Anna, you know, all those days ago, was a track called Deception. Give that a listen to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you like that, give the rest of the album a listen. Blackalicious, Near. And then, you know, to sort of round off, an artist that has kind of been with me since I was a teenager, through my 20s, through my 30s, through my 40s, through the highs, through the lows. Somebody I always go back to is David Bowie. Love his music. I love all of his music. The early stuff, the late stuff, even the bits in the middle, the 80s that people say, that's not very good. I'm all right with it all. I think it's all it's David Bowie, isn't it? What better album to sort of finish this video off than his closing album, Black Star. For those, you know, who don't know this, it's just a very emotional listen. Particularly given what happened thereafter. You know, he recorded this and it was released, and obviously a couple of days later he was gone. You know, nobody could have predicted that was going to happen. And the tracks on the album are gorgeous as well. Got on CD too. I mean, Lazarus. The technicality and the experimentalism on that track is phenomenal. Dollar Days is a lovely tune. I Can't Give Everything Away. I mean, you know, gosh, just give that tune a listen to alone. But you're probably familiar with this album. But if you're not, David Bowie, Black Star, I Can't Give Everything Away. Anyway, there's 5 records and bands that kind of plot my sort of personal life with music. Thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure sharing these with you. Bye-bye.